Good morning. Please excuse the voice and the hair and all that. I just woke up. I saw Marla's question and I really wanted to answer it right away. But I didn't think that typed up message would explain it right because it's just kind of weird. Basically, it's kind of now hitting into the science of food and the science of how things are broken down yield wise. So the question was regarding a specific shake, a protein shake product, and whether or not it was, good. And fact of the matter is, I love Shakeology, and obviously I'm a Beachbody coach, and I share about Shakeology all the time. But that's not the only product on the market. I know that. I'm aware of that. I've tried many other products, but it's in through trying those other products that I came to love Shakeology and understand what it's about. And because of that, I did some research regarding protein yield, which is basically out of everything that's in a product, how much of it is actually protein and how much of it is filler or anything extra, right? So the product that, well, first let me talk about how to do that. So basically you take, and I know teacher and me had to create a little chart for you, but you take, and I'm realizing now that it's kind of backwards for you, but whatever, we'll figure this out. You take the protein grams per serving times 100 and divide that by the grams per serving size. So if you're looking at the product that Marla shared, right, it says that in one scoop, there's 8 grams of protein. You multiply that by 100 and you get 800. Divide that by the total grams in the serving size, the whole scoop itself, and you get 51.6%. So 51.6% of that product is actual protein, which is a really good yield. The only thing that I would say is that the amount of protein is a small per serving based on what you need per day. So you will need 2 scoops of that. But then that goes into, if I need 2 scoops of this protein, how long before I go through that bag? So it'll be a matter of having to re-up your bag of protein a little bit more often. But if that's the product that you prefer to use, then that'll be worth it. To me, I use, obviously, Shakeology. Part of the benefit is that it's a huge bag, right? It lasts me 30 days because one scoop, those 18 grams of protein is actually really good to have in one serving. So I know I have 30 days before I really need another bag of protein. So that helps me out a little bit with that because I just having to go out every 2 weeks or every other week would be too much for me to deal with. Now, I know what's going to happen. You guys, some people may see the calculation and go and check out the calculation for Shakeology, and you're going to see that Shakeology yield is less than what Marla's product has, right? The Shakeology, there's 16 grams of protein per serving. I get 1,600, divide that by the serving size, and I get 45.7% of protein yield, which is lower than that other brand. But there's a reason why it's lower. And it's something that I try to explain to people, and I don't do a really good job of explaining sometimes that Shakeology is not just a protein shake. It has all kinds of proprietary superfoods infused into it. So like if you look at the bag, you have all these additional ingredients that you do not find in other protein shakes, right? So when you go down to the bottom, you see that there's actually 26 grams of superfoods in each scoop, right? Some of that is your protein, so there will be an overlap in your numbers. But if I go and I look up and I do the same yield for the superfood, I see that 74% of my Shakeology is actually superfood. So I know that what I'm ingesting is as clean as possible, natural, not fillers, not junks. Most of it is a lot of it is protein and most of it is superfood. So that's just another way to think about it, like the numbers aspect way of thinking about it. Don't know if that confused you guys anymore, but just to wrap it all up, basically, what you want to do is, if you come across a product that you're interested in, for its protein intake, for its protein value, things to take into consideration, how much protein are you actually getting out of it? So calculate that yield. Out of everything that's left after you calculate that yield, how much of it is filler? How much may be other vitamins and minerals? That's important because that affects the quality of what you're ingesting. So I can go down and I can grab a Slim Fast can and I know that there's protein in it and I can figure out the yield. And I personally don't know the answer, but it could be a fairly okay yield. But the problem is everything else is just filler. And I know for a fact that Slim Fast fillers are sugars and chemicals to keep it shelf stable and things like that. So that's quality is another thing to take into consideration. And the final thing is convenience. Let's be honest. If we had to go out every other day to pick up our bag of protein, would we bother? I know I wouldn't. So there's just 3 things to think about when you are picking a product. And I know that if you may have some questions after this, so just post them up, share them out, and don't forget, today is Meal Prep Sunday because we are getting ready and sticking to a commitment starting tomorrow. So I'll talk to you guys later.